I recently hit y'all with a beef from the D, and that got me thinking, why not do it again? While Eminem had his issues with Insane Clown Posse, the rest of D12 was against Royce the 5'9". According to Royce, he met Eminem when he was opening for Usher at a venue called the Palladium in Detroit, as M was selling copies of the Slim Shady EP, which would date their friendship back to 1997. And he also stated that he met Proof before he even met Eminem. Royce then featured on the Slim Shady LP track Bad Meets Evil. Royce is someone who is well known in hip-hop for his high level of rapping ability, being a close friend of Eminem's, and not only for his solo releases but for his work with the group Slaughterhouse, as well as with DJ Premier as Prime. Group member Bizarre is pretty big in this beef, no pun intended, as it has less to do with Eminem and more about the people around him, you could say. D12 was started in 1996 by Proof recruiting various Detroit rappers including Eminem, who also started his solo career with his debut album Infinite, released in '96 as well, which featured D12 members and was largely produced by Mr. Porter. After the Slim Shady EP, Eminem got signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment and released his second album, the Slim Shady LP. The dissension would soon begin. Being so close to Eminem, Royce also met Dr. Dre and started to write for him like Eminem, Snoop, and others have done. He wrote at least 2 tracks for Dr. Dre's Chronic 2001 album released in November 1999. Only one of them was featured on the album, however, that being The Message, the outro of the album, and the track Dre dedicated to his brother who was killed years prior. According to Royce, he didn't write the song with Dr. Dre's brother in mind and didn't even know about it, but instead wrote it about someone that he was close to himself. Royce's manager, Kino, made a comment in a magazine interview about how he's seen Eminem treat Dr. Dre like a pupil in the studio, which apparently rubbed Dre the wrong way. Allegedly, Dre told Royce that he needs to fire his manager, and Royce refused, which probably didn't help the situation. Royce and Eminem started to separate a bit as M focused on his solo career and D12, as they put out their debut album, Devil's Night, in June 2001. Also in 2001, Jay-Z released his Blueprint album, which features the track Renegade, which was originally an M and Royce song and one of 2 that they recorded for Royce's debut album, Rock City, but his record label made him choose only one M feature and he went with the title track instead of Renegade. That Rock City album was released in November 2002. Somewhere around this time, a track was recorded for DJ Butter's mixtape, Welcome to Shitsville, which featured D12 members Bizarre and Proof, as well as Royce the 5'9" and Billy Nix from Royce's group, The Elite. On the track titled Don't Try This at Home, Bizarre has the lines, "I don't give a fuck if our crews don't get along, bitches know my name without the Slim Shady song, bitch," which is a reference to Royce being featured on the track Bad Meets Evil from the Slim Shady LP, and how their 2 groups are not exactly the best of friends. This would essentially be the first jab on Wax, albeit a subliminal one. Then during the Anger Management tour, which Eminem and D12 were featured on, Royce was asked to record a freestyle for a mixtape, and during that freestyle he has the lines, "Fuck anger management, I need to hire someone to manage my anger," which was seen as a shot at D12 considering they were on the tour.
When they went on tour, they did a Green Lantern mixtape. I submitted them a freestyle verse. For some reason, they listened to the verse and felt like I was dissing. Even him.
He comes on before his record even started and says,
"Fuck anger management. I need somebody to manage my anger." And he took that as I was saying, fuck the anger management tour.
If you cool with him, why would you put something in there that make the man even think that it's a diss?
He said, fuck anger management. Anger management is the name of Eminem's tour. Bottom line.
They took my shit off, and it got back to me through somebody else. And I'm thinking, why would him think I would do something like that to him, of all people?
This further escalated the beef. However, when interviewed for the Beef DVD documentary, which took place during this beef, Royce would state that it wasn't meant as a diss, and he tried to reach out to Eminem, but was denied a conversation with him.
Him was supposed to be upset. He said I'm not talking to Royce, period. I'm calling around frantically. What's wrong with him? What's the problem? Like, we can solve it in one talk.
Eminem, they want to talk to him because you know why? It's 2 words. And not subliminal. Fuck anger management.
In the freestyle that I've heard, Royce says, "We no longer managing our anger. I don't even know why they fucking call it the Anger Management Tour. I'm gonna hire someone else to manage my shit." Slightly different wording, but similar sentiment. If that is indeed the freestyle he is referencing though, I can see how they might take it as a diss. On that same DVD, D12 and Bizarre in particular would be quite vocal about how they felt about the line. Royce then had an interview where he was asked who he thinks is ruining rap and who he would like to start a beef with, to which Royce responded with D12. Following that, D12 dropped the diss track Back Down Royce, also called Smackdown. If you've seen my 50 Cent vs. Ja Rule video, then this song might ring a bell, as I mentioned back then that a reference to Ja Rule was made on the track as they were beefing with him as well by extension of their label mate, 50 Cent. They rap over the beat for the 50 Cent track Back Down, which was a diss to Ja Rule. Throughout the song, they diss Royce for allegedly not even being from Detroit and claim he's from Oak Park, a city right outside Detroit. They also send shots at Royce's group, The Elite, as well, and send shots at Royce for all the help he's gotten from Eminem, and yet his album sales weren't great. Royce then released the track Shit On You, which was recorded about 3 years prior, but not released. Royce raps over the beat for the D12 song Shit On You, which was included on certain versions of the group's debut album, Devil's Night. The diss track is mainly aimed at Bizarre due to his diss from the DJ Butter track, but D12 as a group is mentioned as well. He has the lines, I speak to M and Proof, I'm speaking with love, them my niggas, y'all sissy niggas keeping a grudge. So clearly his beef at the time of the recording wasn't with Eminem or Proof, but with Bizarre and the others. He takes several shots at Bizarre for his stuttering in his raps, as well as his weight. He makes it clear that he sees most of D12 as pretty small-time rappers, with lines like, y'all a rap boy band and you testing me now? Y'all a group with 1 star like Destiny's Child. Fuck that. No nigga, how can I relate to a group of 4 dudes that's easily replaced? He ends his verse with the lines, I don't give a fuck nigga, you get beat up with gloves, and if you want beef, fuck it, you can meet up with Bugs. Which is a reference to the fact that Bugs from D12 was killed back in 1999, which wasn't taken kindly at all by D12, understandably so.
You think the Bugs line took it to the next level?
Hell yeah. That's why we Bugs. Yo, man, please, man.
Next question.
He said Bugs' name in the song. He shouldn't even be worried about us. He should be worried about Bugs people.
After dropping the diss track, Royce stated on the radio that he was going to be making an appearance at a club and essentially called out his opponents to come see him in person.
This is Royce this and Royce that's cool. And I'm going to the Lush tonight. So whoever gangster, whoever decide to get cute, come see me tonight. No, deny. That ain't just D12. That's anybody in the city.
According to D12, he never actually showed up at the club. One of Royce's friends, however, was jumped by D12 allegedly while Royce was heading to the club.
We was there 5 minutes. Everybody was there. Eminem was there. We showed up. He wasn't there. Some of his people was there.
That night, I get a call. D12 just jumped your friend. One of my niggas. D12 just jumped him at the club that I was on my way to.
So what happened that night?
One of his soldiers. What you think happened?
One of his soldiers got smashed the fuck up, right? And his shoes is on this block right now somewhere, I think.
Somebody wearing it. Somebody wearing it.
So, you know what?
It's like 30 niggas and they jump on one person. You know what I'm saying? He get up and drive home. Didn't even go to the hospital.
He then released a diss track titled Malcolm X. On the intro, Royce makes an apology to Bugs' family for the line from the previous diss track, and then he goes on to compare himself to Malcolm X since he's a wanted man essentially. He once again sends shots at Bizarre, especially about his stuttering and weight again, but unlike the previous diss track, which was recorded beforehand and aimed mainly at Bizarre, this track has Royce dissing the whole group. He disses Proof with lines like, and I don't like Proof punk ass, he think he tough, he keep 30 niggas with him cause he weak as fuck. I ever catch you by yourself, I'ma fuck you up, snatch your little cheap ass chain and piece you up. You better hope you and the white boy keep in touch and be a good little hype man or your lease is up. Since Slim Shine 50, I don't see your teeth as much. Which is a reference to how Royce used to be the hype man for Eminem, before Proof and M became close again. And now that 50 was signed to Shady Records, Proof might be given the same treatment. He takes aim at Eminem as well with lines like, I just wish Eminem would stop telling everybody he ain't speaking to me like I'm one of his hoes or something. How about this? I ain't speaking to you, chump, and I'm gonna keep picking on your weak ass crew. And he goes on to diss Bizarre more before finishing his verse with the lines, Paul better call me like he called Benzino. Matter of fact, I might even do a song with Ray, Sign of Murder Inc., and hit you with a song a day. Which is a reference to the beef between Eminem and Benzino that was also going on at the time, as well as the beef between 50 Cent and Ja Rule, and how people teamed up to diss each other. Trey Little then has a verse afterwards where he disses D12 as well, and essentially tells Eminem to just have a conversation with Royce to squash it rather than avoiding communication with him. Overall, this diss track to me is a sharp contrast to the previous one and shows how things got more tense since the first one was recorded. Royce had yet another diss track against the group, this one titled What We Do, which as you can imagine has him rapping over the beat from the hit single of the same name by Freeway featuring Beanie Siegel and Jay-Z. Royce goes in on the group members like Mr. Porter with the lines, "Who the fuck is the non? He don't even write rhymes, acting like he rap harder than who? The con artist is you." He goes on to diss them again for essentially being not as popular as 50 Cent with lines like, "M got 50 Cent, the rest of you niggas change in his pocket. Don't you niggas see he let you come and get twisted and you dissing me, but you niggas is unfinished business." And goes on to call them jealous of him as well. One of the more interesting lines on here is, "It'll never be another D12 album, nigga, what you bet." The funny thing is, only one D12 album came out since then, and that was their second album, D12 World, released in April 2004. So if you take into consideration that album being recorded while this beef was going on, yeah, there really wasn't another D12 album really. To be fair, however, they did release a few mixtapes since then. It's another pretty good diss track, and it's a classic beat. Royce came again quickly, this time with the track We Ridin', which isn't really a diss to D12 necessarily, but a song addressing Eminem specifically. Royce starts his verse off with the lines, "Remember me, the hype man that came in to blaze shit brought in by the white man like I came in on a slave ship in chains?" Which of course is a reference to slavery, and Royce being Eminem's former hype man. You could say the track is basically him venting his frustrations about the whole situation with Eminem. Now, M didn't have much of anything to say on wax about Royce and his beef at the time. However, on the Conspiracy Freestyle track from the DJ Green Lantern mixtape Invasion Part 2, Eminem has the lines, "My fucking mind's blown trying to figure out how to fight my own clone. Rhinestones are so nice, they shine so bright, especially at night after a hit of ecstasy. Ain't that right, roll? Oh." Which is a reference to the rhinestones Royce had on his do-rag for his Rock City album cover, as well as their drug use. This is yet another track that I mentioned in a prior video, that being Eminem versus Benzino, as on this track he sends shots at Benzino and the Source magazine. Proof also had his own diss tracks aimed at Royce, one of those being Beef Is Over, which he released with the group Purple Gang. Killer Khan, Flame, and Famous rap the first, second, and third verses respectively, while Proof does the intro, chorus, and the outro. They diss Royce along with The Elite with lines like, "Royce ain't the king of shit, and I'ma delete the elite. How you a gangster but you never in the streets." Along with plenty of threats to Royce like, "This nigga's sick but I'ma cure his cold. Throw a tissue over the 40 cal and blow his nose. You rock rhinestones, you can't afford diamonds. You the king of what city? Stop lying." Royce released yet another track around this time, that being Death Day, which has him rapping over the beat to 50 Cent's hit single In the Club, and as a reference to the chorus. Royce doesn't name any names in particular throughout the track, but considering the ongoing beef and the choice to use that beat, it does seem to be pretty clear a shot at D12 and Shady Records, especially given the fact that the In the Club beat was originally for D12, but 50 wound up using it instead. Royce does have one line in particular though, which seems to be a dig at Eminem however, that being the line, "Me and Eminem is like Diddy and Shine," which initially seems like a good thing, but when you think about what happened between the two, Shine and Diddy being involved together in a shootout, but Shine going to prison while Diddy was acquitted, the line has a much deeper connotation. Proof also had his own go at rapping over a 50 Cent beat, that being another hit single, Many Men, and like I mentioned in a prior video, one of my favorite 50 Cent songs. Proof does his own rendition of Many Men and has a subliminal shot at Royce with the lines, "Y'all ain't from 7 Mile and y'all ain't wild, fuck a boom. When you hear that click, it's a," which is followed by a gunshot sound effect. Boom is the name of Royce's first single from his debut album Rock City. And if that isn't enough proof, he makes a reference to Oak Park again in the second verse. Oak Park once again being where Royce lived for a time. The beef culminated in an altercation between Royce and Proof outside a nightclub where guns were involved. Luckily, no one was killed or anything, but they both did have to spend the night in jail because of it. According to Royce, The beef between the two was squashed that night. Ironically enough, they got put into cells next to each other and got the chance to talk things out. That squashed things apparently with the rest of D12 as well. All's well that ends well, right? Well, kinda. In February 2004, Royce dropped his second album, Death Is Certain, which features the track Beef, which is essentially his own version of the Biggie track What's Beef. The first verse of the track has the lines, "Fuck is you sick, Pac should be pissed, cause 50% of them niggas sucking his dick, his bitch." The 50% line would appear to be a subliminal diss to 50 Cent, given how there were similarities with Pac, mainly getting shot several times. Then in the second verse he has the lines, "Gangsta ain't this, starving artist that comes with the guns he paint with. All you sorry street rejects, y'all about to go up in smoke, seats ejecting." Up in Smoke is the name of the tour that Dr. Dre, Eminem, D12, and several others were on, and the guns and paint most likely being a reference to the whole paint gun incident that got Eminem arrested. Unfortunately, in April 2006, Proof was killed due to an issue that occurred over a game of pool at a club in Detroit. Just like the Eminem and Insane Clown Posse beef, this one was also essentially squashed by Proof. Eminem and Royce had their ups and downs a little bit over the years, but have mostly remained on a positive note it seems. In 2008, Royce was featured on the D12 mixtape, Return of the Dozen, Volume 1, on the track Plead for Your Life. Then in 2011, Eminem and Royce reunited and released the EP, Hell, the sequel. Around this time, Royce, as a part of the group Slaughterhouse, along with Crooked I, Joe Budden, and Joell Ortiz, signed to Shady Records. Slaughterhouse had issues with being signed to Shady, mainly due to Joe Budden, and Royce maneuvered through them, maintaining his loyalty to both his good friend and at one point opponent Eminem, as well as his group mate and friend Joe as well. Royce at times caught flack from others due to his defense of Eminem when people would come at him, especially in times when people would question Eminem's credibility in hip-hop due to being a white guy. So all in all, the beef between Royce and D12 was resolved relatively peacefully despite a few altercations here and there and several diss tracks gone back and forth. They all went on to continue releasing music both solo as well as collaborations together. What do you think about the beef? Did D12 come out on top lyrically or Royce? As always, subscribe to the channel, click the thumbs up button to like the video, and join the Discord server to come talk to me and others about hip hop and all that.